Felicitations, aficionados. Huge channel update inbound. I have lost my right to monetize for not being active enough, and what better way is there to make a comeback other than to make a review about a new gacha game? This will be a mostly negative review. Do you like waifus? Do you like leveling characters? Do you like, funnily enough, factory automation games? Then look no further than Arknights Endfield. What's the premise? Fight, explore, build, repeat. As the administrator, you will save people of Telos 2 from unwanted aliens, catastrophic events, and poverty. To do that, you will need your trusty operators, such as Dependable Dudes and Random Woman number 27. You build your team as however you want, and tackle on enemies and bosses. But to do that, you will need to be able to explore, which is ruining nature around you by erecting power pylons and zipline facilities, automatic miners, and so forth. Then, make use of your AIC factory to use resources to make better gear, and gather currency by selling crafted consumables to outposts, which helps them develop to be bigger and better. You also can use automated defenses to do your job for you. But fret not, even if you don't want to use them. Your operators are more than enough for the job. As you move through the main quest, you unlock more and more facilities to help you achieve your goals. Craft gear parts, advanced materials, drugs to illegally distribute, you name it. More outposts you unlock, more room you will have to increase your production numbers. You may use one outpost to craft certain items and use them in another. Because depots are connected through all outposts as long as they are in the same region. Even if you are not into the idea of building your own factory, you can still copy other people's blueprints and just paste them into your factory areas. Only if you're a loser. But let's end the topic of factories here. You understand the gist of it. Now, let's get to the action. The combat. I can't wait to tell you about them because they are mediocre as hell, and serve pretty much no purpose in the endgame. Let me explain. Combat uses 4 operators, each having their own battle skills, combo skills, and ultimates. Holy shit, is that Shadow the Hedgehog? And compared to the other games of the similar genres, like WoW and Genshin, your other characters actually do fight with you. They are constantly with you, in fact. They can lead you to collectibles, collect the items on the ground themselves, talk to each other.
We seem to have high-value supplies nearby. Keep an eye out for those.
You have keen senses,
etc. But the problem is, during fights, they do not constantly fight. As you can see, they do their full basic attack combo and then just wait for a bit, which makes it quite weird to look at. Another problem I have with the combat is that it's mainly revolved around battle skills and combo attacks. Battle skills are skills that consume SP and can be activated whenever you want, with no cooldown as long as you have the required SP. Combo skills have special requirements for activation and do have cooldowns. And ultimates just fill overtime with usage of skills and can be activated when their gauge is full. So, the problem I mentioned is that recovering SP in combat requires you to land a final hit of the basic attack combo with the controlled operator, dodge an attack, or stun enemies to use a special attack. Other than that, you also have SP generating characters. Most of the time, combat just consists of you holding left click and waiting until you have enough SP. And I'm sorry, but that's just not engaging enough. You have the dodge to time with the enemy attacks, but that's basically it. This could be different if changing active operators did anything, but it doesn't. Everyone's basic attack combo does exactly the same thing. But since I stated this, I think great sword users may have an advantage over all other classes, because I stumble upon a weapon that makes the active operator deal increased stun gauge damage. Other than that, being the active operator pretty much means nothing. Another problem, you don't really need to have any, and I mean any, other team than your main one. There isn't any combat related challenge in the game that requires you to use certain elements or certain classes. meaning that the whole idea of team building consists of synergy between the team, which after you find one, gives you little to no reason to even level a new character. This is the team I used throughout the whole game after its release, and after the new ruling patch, and I'm still not missing anything combat related. Being a gacha game, but not having to pull for anyone is certainly one of the design choices of all time. By the way, all the characters on my team were free from the start. I did use the standard pulls the game gave me, but I have no reason to use neither the premium currency nor the limited banner tickets to get any other character. I can't comment much on how good or bad the gacha is in the game. It's the standard pity system, and pulling duplicates giving you more pulls kind of deal. Let's go back to something positive about the game. Visuals and music really set the tone and scratch that feel-good itch. In fact, you have been listening to my favorite track in the game ever since this video started. Let's turn the volume up. Some of the combat themes also sound good, but you don't get to hear them a lot because it's the material grind stage themes. Since you have no reason to build other characters than your main team, these stages also become useless. Because why gather materials if you won't use them? Speaking of gathering materials, I have one more positive thing to say. In Dijang, your spaceship, you can actually passively gather materials to upgrade operators, which, in my opinion, is a great thing. Anyone that ever played Zenless Zone Zero would start spasming over this. Do they take a long time to make? Yes, but at least, while you are offline, you're still getting upgrade materials this way. Not to mention, this is in addition to the already available energy consuming stages. It's really nice. You also have an interesting and permanent exploration and collection based game mode, where you collect items and resources to be able to explore more and collect more items. But it kinda ends in one or two sitting. It has Dark Souls reference with the safe zones in it, but that's about it. You thought I ended the amount of problems I have? You must be joking. This will be a unique thing to say, but it never left my mind the moment I saw who I wanted to pull and saw their moveset. Characters do not represent themselves. What do I mean by that? Since it's incredibly visible with two characters that I checked, I will put them into the spotlight. I wanted to pull for Li Fang, because of one thing, his character profile animation. There is clear indication that Li Fang knows martial arts, and that is the fighting style I love when playing games. Martial arts, unarmed, whatever you would name it. With the pose he has here, and his intro animation clearly showing a gauntlet of some sorts, I was immediately hooked. However, he used a spear as a weapon. This put the doubt into my mind, and frankly, I was right to doubt. Because with the 6-star selector they gave away within the first 2 weeks, which is insanely generous compared to their competition, I did get Li Fang, and his full moveset didn't even include the gauntlet in any shape or form. My second example here is Ember. Again, I saw the gauntlet with the nail coming out of it, thinking she would do anything with it. Lo and behold, she only uses the gauntlet in the ultimate, and nothing else. This presents a two-way problem. Her whole getup loses to the idea of having one of the 5 weapons in the game being forced upon her. And the weapon you may have used premium currency to get and level up to its max level and essence not being in the most cinematic thing the character does, which is the ultimate. I may be nitpicking with something like this, but it just removes hope. Or as the librarian from Dawn of War would say,
hope is the first step on the road to disappointment.
And he was spot on. And if you cannot meet the expectations of hope after getting something that is hard to get, like a gacha character, then you won't be able to say it was worth it. But that's just my opinion. More and more, I don't like the voice actors that cannot fully, fluently speak English. Instead of feeling nice or interesting, moving on, after you reach to the second act, which leads you to Wuling, a whole new region with a different look and a fresh sight. In fact, this is the most beautifully designed and alive looking city I have ever seen in any game, not even gacha exclusive. As I said from my statement before, they land visuals and feelings pretty perfectly. You can see shops, people moving around, people training, like it's beautiful, really. In Wuling, you get access to liquids in the AIC factory. This surprised me because the Wuling region actually has several pools that you can fill and empty at will. That was cool, but the game still had the same problem. After maxing the levels of outposts, there was nothing you needed to do. And even in the latest patch currently, that is the case. It will be a short review I guess, but what can you do? I rate the game hang on? What's this?
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
10 out of 10, best game in the universe, finally arrival to the Duke Nukem Forever. This awakened something in me. Soon after, I learned that you could mix water with some other things to create new liquids. Liquid Arknight is one of them, and it's a great thing. It can dissolve blight, which means it's probably not good for people to swim in it either. This made me wear a Let's Game Without uniform and get to work. Because lo and behold, while the belts are not placeable outside of AIC zones, pipes can be placed anywhere you want, as long as they are connected to something. And I also remembered, there is this side quest that makes you empty a huge hole that had things in it. And that huge hole had a capacity of 40,000 liquid. So I got to work, tried it with the closest pool available, and certainly enough, it looked radioactive. I said, this is it, and started my work, which first step included being sure that I radiate all the available area in my AIC factory zone. After radiating the current area, I started my work through the Wuling city, and it actually went beautifully. I even did some infrastructure work with how pipes acted. Every single pool I saw, I made sure this single pipe would reach, and after emptying all of them, I set them up beautifully to ruin all of the nature by radiating everything on the way. After accomplishing my small goal, it was time for the big one, the big hole. So this will take a second. While we wait for that, I also had the idea of giving Andre, our old friend that I never mentioned, a gift. Great guy by the way, the goat of the whole game in my opinion. While you can use cow shit to fertilize open-air gardens you have, because some of the things can only grow this way, I had other plans. I removed everything in the Valley 4 region's hub area's AIC zone and got to work on placing belts, because it was going to be beautiful. And I knew it. Lo and behold, the Beltway. My aim was to fill this short belt line with a bit of stink, if you will. The problem is, every livestock in the game can only defecate once a day. So day by day, I tried to never miss a chance on the 2 collection zones I found to get the goods, and sent them to the Valley Force depot. It was coming beautifully. Also, after a certain number of them, belts simply stopped rendering as an in-game mechanism, which meant there was now floating cow shit in my hub area, and that only put a smile on my face. So yeah, for this game I give it like a 7 out of 10 for the first 2 weeks. But after the 2 weeks, which I completed everything progression related, not including character leveling, it becomes a no reason out of 10. The premise is unique, and I would love this game to succeed and have a long lifespan, but currently it's not really for anyone. Factory game players will stay in their own games because they don't just suddenly end until next patch arrives. And combat focused players will also continue playing their own games because there is no combat challenge available in the game. And for people that want to collect their favorite waifus and use them, they can do the gambling part, but using them part still isn't in the game, assuming you did pretty much everything. It filled up, by the way. The video would end there. However, while playing through the main quest, I realized a thing. This beautiful pool that when scanned stated it had sewage in it. I had my neuron activation right there. I was looking at it like how James Sunderland looked at alcohol. I got to work. I redid my factory to produce sewage and some gear parts or something useless like that. I connected the main pipeline for my radioactive endeavors to the sewage production and rushed in to make sure I can empty the pools with the new water treatment facility. In a quite fucked up way, this treatment facility didn't want to get rid of liquid Juranite. I had no other choice but to fill water tanks with it and then delete them to get rid of it. I started working one by one. I knew it would be a hassle with the 40,000 liquid capacity hole, but I was adamant about it. I started putting water tanks around it and began the process of emptying it. Then I went to check another pool's progress, but then I saw what the fluid supply unit said. I am heartbroken, those. This video ends here. 7 out of 10. Have a chat engineer day.